It's kind of not what we would choose today. Well, folks, we had gone from the formal side to the family side. This room is their version of a family room. Now, you can look and look and look, and you're not going to find one thing in this room that's digital. But what you are going to find is the room very much like it was when the Lincolns lived here. This is the place where the little Lincoln boys would come after dinner. If it was cold or rainy outside, they'd come in here, play on the floor, marbles, checkers, dominoes. That brown box is a present Mr. Lincoln bought his boys. It's called a stereoscope. Do you know the little toy, the Viewmaster? You hold it up and click it. A disc rotates, gives you a 3D view. That does the same thing. I've actually played with that, and it still works. So it's a very cool toy. Now, in this room, there's a lot of active games. The Lincoln boys had a dog. It had kind of a generic name. They called him Fido. So Fido's over here. They play with Fido. They wrestle on the floor with their father. And sometimes this room is just up for grabs. Lots of noise, lots of energy. But sometimes, oh, we've got some folks in this. Just come on out.
All right.
We're fine. Okay, well, we have plenty of room. But sometimes this room is very quiet. You'd hear one voice. It would be Mr. Lincoln. He'd be lying on the floor in front of the fireplace, reading to his children. He was all about education. He thought that the best way to improve your life was to be a hard worker and get a good education. So he reads to his boys from Shakespeare, Charles Dickens, history, poetry, the Bible. He did that a lot, and so did Mary. But Mary spends a lot of time over here. That's her sewing table, and underneath the mirror. Now, when I take guests to the Lincoln home, I like for them to think about this house not as a museum, because in 1860 there are no tour groups going through this house, but this is where Lincoln does life. It's where he spends time with his wife, where he raises his kids. I like to imagine him standing in front of that mirror, maybe adjusting his tie. Or perhaps Mary reaches up from her height of 5'3" up to his height of 6'4", and maybe smooths his hair down, makes him presentable. It's just a regular house in 1860. Now, in those days when the sun went down, the family went up the stairs to the bedrooms, which is where we're going to go. But I never want to leave a room without asking if anybody has any questions. You do? Well, I thought you might. What was your question?
Why are all of the rooms like closed?
Closed?
Yeah.
That's a very good question. We have some people who are not as nice as you are, and they might go over here and touch some of the clothes, some of the furniture, and some people might even try to take some of the things. And so we have to have this rail here to protect it. Yeah, if all the boys of yours were like you, we wouldn't have to have a rail. But some of them like too nice sometimes. Okay, anything else?
Fireplace is not very deep.
Oh, the fireplace, good eye, sir. That would be so smoky today. About 20 years ago, the house was closed for restoration, and they put reinforcement behind the fireplace, and they had to take out about a foot of depth. Okay. So the bricks are original, just not as many of them. Okay, let's take a walk up the stairs. I need to kind of read a little here.
No, I don't think so. Sprinklers. Could have been 1800 sprinklers. If there was
No, there's a doorbell out here, really. No, just the doorbell when you come out. Literally a doorbell.
Wow. And then there's the sewing room, and then there's the living room. It is?
Yep. I know there's your 6-foot bed.
This is a gray carpet to stay on. Man, you need to stay on the gray carpet. There we go. That's okay. It happens all the time. Well, we are in the last edition the Lincolns made. 1856. They add this room, they add a sewing room, and they add a guest bedroom. That finishes their construction of the house, and it gives them a 12-room house. Now, when they build this room, that gives them a status symbol. They now have 2 bedrooms. This one in the room where the couple used to sleep. Mary uses this room as a place to take care of the boys if they get sick. And sadly, they've already had a tragedy in this family. Little Eddie died in this house when he was nearly 4. He had a lung disease. So anytime Eddie or Willie gets sick, Mary takes the little boy back in here, sleeps with him, covers him up, and just does the good mother thing. But this room we call Mr. Lincoln's room because it has his wardrobe where he kept his suits, the dresser where he kept other clothes. Over in the corner is his chair and his writing desk. And we think this was his shaving area. We're not totally sure about that, but I'm sure of one thing. It's not built for somebody my height. I can't even see my nose in that mirror. But if you're 6'4", it's just right for you. Now, I don't usually talk about wallpaper, but I want you to look at this wallpaper here. This is the only wallpaper in the house that we are 100% sure of. This is exactly the pattern that Mary picked out down in St. Louis before they built this room. She paid a ton of money for it because it was imported from Paris. Now, I want you to think about what that means. 1809, Abraham Lincoln is born in Kentucky, a 1-room log cabin with a dirt floor. 47 years later, he's sleeping in a room with imported French wallpaper. What a change. It tells you so much about how Lincoln's life changed over the years. He lived the American dream. He actually went from a log house to the White House. That's a journey, folks. So looking around you and thinking about what you've seen and what I've said, anybody have any questions?
Well, before they added on these